Hello, dreamy people. I am so excited about today's guest. Dr. Patsy Blackshear is back in the Haven to talk about her latest project, celebrating African American female pioneers. You may remember Dr. Blackshear from season 4 when we showcased the documentary The Bates Center of Excellence, in which she served as the executive producer with the Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Foundation, which is located in Annapolis, Maryland. Today, she is sharing her latest project, which focuses on the accomplishments of African American women who were the first to make a significant contribution in their area of expertise. It is a wonderful homage to the women who paved the way for many of us, and I'm happy to have Dr. Blackshear on to talk about it. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Dr. Blackshear to the Haven.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you very much for being here. Now, I want to go straight to the chase. We're talking about women first.
Yes.
And one thing that I want to point out is the author who you, Miss Dr. Patsy Blackshear, who was the first African American woman appointed to the Anne Arundel County, Maryland Board of Appeals. Has it been more than 8 years?
I served 2 terms, which was 8 years.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
yeah.
And
Long haul.
very long haul, and I'm sure very rewarding work.
Yes, it was. It was.
And you are also involved in the Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Foundation, which was actually founded by your husband,
Yes.
Leonard Blackshear.
Yes.
So before we talk about the book, I'd like to talk a little bit about that
Okay.
and give our dream catchers some information about the foundation and also what they would find when they go to downtown
Okay.
Annapolis.
Well, most people in the region know the foundation for 2 things. One is the Kunta Kinte Festival. And that festival was started back in 1987 when Alex Haley was still alive, and he would come every year. And my husband and his board founded that festival, and it's been held every year since 1987. They might have had 1 year they didn't hold it, but it's been an ongoing effort since 1987. And the other thing,
And it's usually in September?
it's in September. This year it's going to be Saturday, September 23rd.
Okay, so it's
on the
always a
city docks.
Saturday.
It's on. It's always a Saturday. Years ago, when it was first founded, it would be a whole weekend. Now it's just the Saturday.
Okay.
And the second thing the foundation is known for is the Alex Haley Memorial. And the Alex Haley Memorial is on the city docks in Annapolis. It's one of the most visited things in the state of Maryland, one of the most visited memorials, definitely. And you don't come to Annapolis without going to the memorial. And the memorial is it has a number of components, but the piece that is most endearing, 2 pieces, is a life-size statue of Alex and a group of 3 mixed race kids. And he's reading to them. And he's reading to them because he's making the point of the importance of sharing your history, sharing your heritage. And that's what the foundation focuses on.
And I think we have a shot of that we're showing our
Wonderful,
viewers.
wonderful. And the other thing that I love about the memorial is something called the story wall. And the story wall shares values from the book Roots that are just sound, fundamental values that I think all of us embrace.
And you're referring to the book that was turned into a series
Yes.
back in what year was
Yes.
that?
Oh God, I think
It's the 80s,
it
right?
It was the 70s.
The 70s.
It was the 70s, and I want to
Okay.
say 76 or 72. Only reason I know is because there was a major snowstorm that weekend, and we were visiting some friends, and we chose to drive home that Sunday so we could be at home for that series to start. So no, it was in the 70s.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so our viewers who have not seen Roots can probably catch it on, I don't know, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, some outlet, Hulu.
BET, yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's been a updated version of Roots as well. So there's the original roots, and then there was an updated version as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
and you said that when he was alive,
He would
Alex
come to
Haley
the
would come
festival
to the
every year.
festival.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the things that people can expect to see at the festival?
Well, you're going to have performances all day long. Now it's just, well, it's one major stage, but they generally have some other area where they have small music performances, but one major stage. You're going to have vendors, you're going to have food, you're going to have spoken words, and it's all kicked off with a commemoration ceremony. The commemoration ceremony is something that the foundation does every year, again, since 1987, where we pay honor to those unnamed Africans, including Kunta Kinte, who came to these shores to help build this United States. So we just pay homage to them and the contributions that they made, as well as Bonds people and indentured people who came into this country.
Okay, and then there's the Compass Rose, which is one of my
The Compass Rose,
things.
it is? Okay, well, that's another component. The Compass Rose is an interesting component of the memorial, because if you stand in the center of it, you can face towards the country of your heritage, your family's heritage, whether it is Asia, whether it is Europe, whether it is Africa. And the center turned in that particular direction gives you true north, the true direction to that particular continent.
Yeah, we have a picture of that as well,
Okay.
that we're showing our viewers so they can really get a visual of what that looks like.
Okay.
And also it's a self-guided tour
Well,
that
the
you have set up?
self-guided tour is interesting because some years back we decided to make the memorial a instrument of opportunity for people to learn more by creating QR codes and videos that a visitor could actually cue in on, and they can decide which component of the memorial they want to learn more about. And they can, via video, using a QR code, they can go to our website or the QR code that they can scan, and what they can do is just learn about 4 major components of the memorial. And it's wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it, and
Yeah,
I encourage our viewers to definitely take a trip to the Annapolis City Docks to check that out.
Yeah. And the thing that's interesting about it is that I share with people all the time that it is the next best thing to having a personal guide.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Is it Chris Haley that is
Chris
doing
Haley
the narration?
is the commentator through it. He does a wonderful job.
And he is the
Nephew of Alex. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Who I also had on the show a
Okay.
few shows ago, a few episodes around the beginning of our season
Yeah.
to talk about his latest book. so.
Chris, I want to say Chris was, if not one of the founding board members, he was one of the early board members on the, with both the festival group and then the foundation. His father as well, Julius, was on the board. So we
okay.
always, when Julius was alive and when Alex was alive, definitely, we always had a Haley on the board.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's a great legacy to
Yes.
have.
Yes.
So I started your intro talking about the Bates documentary
Okay.
that featured some teachers.
15.
15 teachers.
15 teachers who were still alive, who had taught at Bates before the schools were integrated. And if people don't know Bates, Bates is the only high school that was in Anne Arundel County. And I used to marvel at the fact that I would, when I would interact with people, since I'm not from Annapolis, although I live there, and I would interact with them and I would say, everybody knows everybody. I mean, how is that
How
the
is
case?
that possible?
Yeah, particularly for black people. I said, how is that the case? Well, what I found out is they knew everyone because they either went to school with that individual or they went to school with that person's relative, aunt or brother or cousin or whoever. And so that's how they know each other in the county. And so it was a very close community, but it was really considered by a lot of schools in this region to be the Mighty Bates. The Mighty Bates because it was a big high school. Back in the years 1940s, we're talking about 2,000 kids at that school because they would come to that school from all over the county. So they had a choir of over 200 you know, students in the choir. They had sports teams that would win almost everything that they competed in. And it was a community. Bates was the community.
And you served as the executive producer for that documentary, and I know that you had a outstanding first night of exhibition of the film.
Yes, we did a weekend unveiling of the film, and what was wonderful about it is that we had, I can't remember now, I want to say 10. Why does 10 stick with me? I want to say 10 of the 15 teachers were there that we had interviewed. And what was so wonderful about it is many of those teachers had not interacted or seen each other since they had left Bates. And the school system was fully integrated. And it was just so wonderful for them. And they were in their 80s and 90s. 3, I believe, 4 now have since passed. So we're very happy that we were able to capture that history, and we still share it.
Absolutely, and our show actually featured the documentary in 2 parts during our Black History Month showcase of films, and it was a real honor to do that, and we should absolutely continue to do that.
Please do.
Now, for people to get more information about the Alex Haley, Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Foundation events or activities, where should they go?
To our website, kintehaley.org.
Okay.
K-I-N-T-E Haley, H-A-L-E-Y.
.org. And they'll also be able to get information about the festival there?
Not the festival. The festival is called the Kunta Kinte Festival, and it's a different website.
Okay.
But we often get emails from people seeking information about the festival, and we pass them on to the festival group.
Okay, okay. Now, one thing that I just want to highlight about all of the things that you talked about that you've been involved in, there has always been a component of education.
Yeah.
Because you have a strong desire to ensure that people know their roots, their heritage. I know once upon a time, you also founded a ancestry project in Annapolis. You want to talk a little bit about that? And hopefully it'll be coming back.
We've done a number of ancestry projects. The one you're speaking about is something called Grandparents Passing It Forth. And it was a success.
Yes, absolutely.
It was an astounding success. And why have we not done it? Because we're a small organization, and it has to do with bench strength, manpower, and what we're going to pursue at a point in time. But we've had so many requests to do that again. The thing that was nice about that ancestry project is that we required that registration include the grandparent and the grandchild, and that they go to the various workshops that we had together. So it was grandparents sharing information about their family heritage with that grandchild, and so that was the whole conference, and it was just wonderful.
It was.
And if I recall, that was a 2-day conference, but it was just wonderful. But we've also done something a number of summers called Roots Camp, which again is a heritage project and genealogy project, but that was just for youngsters. We started it off for youngsters, primarily middle school youngsters, where they would be in a computer lab for a week. And what they were doing during that week is doing genealogy research. And part of their research included learning websites that they could go to do genealogy research, so it was that kind of hands-on. Interviewing, they had a series of questions, so they had to interview elders in their family. And when they finished at the end of that week, they basically had an outline, a working outline of their family genealogy. So we did that a number of summers, and it was so successful that we decided to do a genealogy workshop, Roots Camp, for elders. And we did that at the Bates Senior Center.
Okay.
And because they have a computer lab. And I remember the first year that was done. We can only provide the workshop to the extent that we have a computer available for the participant.
Right.
So if you got 20 computers, we got to cap it at 20 participants. And I remember the senior saying, "I'm not leaving, I'm staying."
They were having too good
So
of
we
a
had
time.
to do a second schedule for them. How do you tell a senior that you got to go?
You don't.
Yes, I mean, we finally negotiated a second session, but it too was a successful endeavor. And those have been successful, and we would love to repeat some of them, but our effort has to be adjusted by our manpower.
Yeah. Well, those were great opportunities for, you went from middle schoolers to seniors and everybody in
to
between.
grandparents with the child.
Great opportunities for people
Yeah.
to learn
Yeah.
their culture
Yes.
as well as their
Family
genealogy.
heritage, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So, bringing us fast forward.
And as we go fast forward, we operate a genealogy resource center, which is a collection of genealogy information about African Americans, primarily focused on African Americans in Maryland, so that people can go there and do genealogy research.
Oh, where
primarily
do they
about their
go?
family. We're on the second floor of Asbury United Methodist Church.
Okay.
We used to be in the library at Sir John Douglas College. That college is no longer with us, and so we moved to the second floor of Asbury. And I guess we've been there now
talk
about 5 years.
Asbury without talking about its history. We cannot mention it.
Asbury is the oldest African American church in Anne Arundel County. And we did a genealogy project related to Asbury, where we went in and we interviewed all of the seniors there, 90 and older, to capture the history of Asbury through the eyes of those seniors.
Wow.
What was it like when you were a child? Who was your pastor? What kind of programs were active? Who were some of the people you know now that actually came up through this church with you? Did you go to school with them? I mean, it was just wonderful.
And was that another documentary?
That was not a documentary. It's a series of separate videos
Okay.
of the seniors at Asbury.
Okay.
It'd be great to take all that footage and
Put it
create
together.
Yeah.
Now, how old is the church?
The church was organized in 1803.
Wow.
But when it was organized, they were meeting, separately in different homes and everything. The first church site was built in 1838. And then fast forward to the current site, which has both components of the first and the renovation, which was took place in 1970s.
Is that when it was on fire? Did it not?
It was just a small little piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Wow. That's a lot of great, rich history in Anne Arundel County.
Yes.
So let's
it's a
talk
beautiful
about
sanctuary.
the women in
Yeah.
Anne Arundel County.
So
Let's fast forward to them.
That's why we're here.
Yes. Okay. So actually, I have a question for you. So, this book is in print, but wasn't there another similar project that is on the Kunta Kinte Foundation website?
That's how we started, and I love that project. I love it. So what happened was Kamala Harris was elected as our Vice President of the United States. And at a board meeting, one of our male board members, Dr. Donald Roan, said, we need to do something to honor women in Anne Arundel County. And we started talking about it, and we said, yeah, okay, you're right. So what we did was we started a research project to identify African American female first in Anne Arundel County.
Mm-hmm.
Because Kamala Harris, Madam C.J. Walker, Gwendolyn Brooks, I mean, we have a lot of renowned national women, but we have local women as well who should be lifted up because of their contributions. So we started the research, and we would, in phases, phase being 8 women, 10 women, when we would get a number of them, the research completed, we'd place them on our website. What I love about what we did was you would go to the website and there would be a picture of the person, and then it would say, click here to hear her story. Her story. And so what you would get is a 1.5 minute overview of that woman, and then it would have a button that says press for more. And then, so more would give you the full background on that woman. So we posted them on our website, and then over time, we were talking, and I'm saying, you know, this is just too important to have left to the vagaries of
technology.
we hard copy. We need this
and in the libraries and all over the place.
And it's just so wonderful that it's in the library. I mean, it's in the public library.
Yes.
It's in the public school system. They have it in the library of middle and high schools. All the middle schools and high schools have 2 copies of this book.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then it's also available on Amazon and wherever
You can,
books
it's
are
on
sold.
Amazon, and then you know,
Books A
History
Million.
Annapolis, and then St. John's College. Libraries all around the
Awesome.
county have copies of this book. You know,
It's
in
a
museums.
very, very important book.
It's extremely important.
Not only for Anne Arundel County, not only for the state of Maryland, but also for the people of the United States. Everyone needs to pick up a copy and read the rich history about the African American women who are featured in here.
Library of Congress contacted us, and they asked for 2 copies.
Okay,
Yeah,
so put in their
yeah,
library.
yeah. So it's in the Library of Congress.
So that was the impetus for the book?
Kamala Harris and a discussion at a board meeting was the impetus for our initial research. And then as the critical mass grew and the fact that we didn't want to lose this rich history, we said, we need to make this a book. So then we started adding more so that we could put it in book form.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So that's a great segue into what your process was in pulling it together. Like, how did you decide who you were going to feature? How did you go about the writing of it? I'm sure there are dream catchers who are watching who are thinking of doing, you know, basically an anthology.
Yeah. And I would encourage people across, you know, their particular areas to do just that. We started off by contacting people. We would contact people and we would say, you know, we're trying to identify the first. And some of them we knew, and some of them we had the research. Like I said, there was a first NAACP leader who used to run the NAACP for the county, and she was this and blah, blah, blah. And we thought we knew that first, and we found out we didn't. We started research, and that was not the first. That person was the vice president of the first. So it's like you start going down a little rabbit hole, or we say, there was this first to do this, and then we find out more. Like somebody in a planning meeting said, you were the first school board member. I said, I don't think so. I said, I wasn't the first African American female school board member. And we started down our little hole.
Until you got the right answer.
Yeah, we got the right answer.
Now that's where technology is a winner. Because
and then we phone people. We did a lot of phoning, a lot of email. Do you know the email for this person? Do you know how I can get in touch with this person? I mean, it was a lot of that.
Yeah. How long did it take to do the research?
The research probably took us a good 2 years total.
Yeah.
It took us a good 2 years because we started off first with the research on the website, and then we expanded it, and so we were continuing. So the first phase of it, so maybe we had 15, 20 people on our website, then we just went further. We completed a research for 34 women when we decided to put it in book form. One of the women that's in here, not because she is from Anne Arundel County, although she tells us she represents the whole state, is Adrienne Jones,
Yes.
who is the first Speaker of the House,
Yes.
African American female Speaker of the House, and the first female Speaker of the House. Adrienne Jones is highlighted because of those particular accomplishments, but also she was the guest attendee at a celebratory event we had during Women's History Month to honor these women. So research is on 34 of the women, and 14 of them were still alive, 20 are deceased, and of the 14, 10 were in attendance.
Wow.
So it was wonderful to have them there.
That's amazing. So you had a team of people just assigned
we
to
have,
different
we
people?
We have a team of people who are working, and we are now working on an updated version of this.
I was going to ask you about
Back
that.
to your earlier question of how do we come up with these. Well, in the back of the book, what we're doing is we're asking the community to help us identify other firsts that we miss. And so there's a little form.
Okay.
And so we ask them to send this to us. So some actually complete the form and send it to us. Some send an email. Some send a telephone call.
As long as you get it.
We get the information. We're trying to get the information. But we're trying to broaden our outreach to make sure that we capture as many women as we can, because our first blush we felt maybe captured 50, 60, 70%, but there's a broader number that we're trying to reach.
And when do you anticipate publishing the next volume?
The second edition. We have a timeline that suggests that we should be ready to go to print by January. That's our timeline.
Okay, and it's self-published?
It is published through Amazon.
Through Amazon. And how
Yeah.
was that experience for our dream catchers who are thinking about doing that?
It was easy, and it had some challenges. It had some hiccups because we had some formatting challenges that we had to resolve. But we have people who love the foundation and who volunteered to help us get through some of our formatting challenges. But beyond the formatting challenges, it was fairly easy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good, solid book
Yeah.
of information and
Yeah.
colored pages, pictures. Do you want to know who my favorite three are?
Oh, my goodness, you got favorites.
Dr. Carlita Allen.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course, the Honorable Sheila Finlayson.
Okay, I know her.
And you've already mentioned the Honorable Adrienne A. Jones.
Yes, indeed.
So those
Yes,
are my
indeed.
three. And then
Yeah.
also Dr. Patsy Baker Blackshear
Gotta be.
is amongst that number
Yeah,
of
yeah,
great women.
yeah.
And I look forward to seeing the second volume and
Yeah.
hearing more about
Yeah.
how this project is evolving.
Yeah.
Maybe go to the state level.
Yeah.
Go
Well,
from
you know,
county to state?
and it's interesting. We've had recommendations from people, and they would include folks in Prince George's County, or they would include people at the state level. And I'd take my team. I says, bring it in, bring it in.
Yeah.
Anne Arundel County, bring it in. we got all to do so much. Anne Arundel County, let's get these women first. So that's what we're trying to do first.
Look, it's just a wonderful, wonderful read. It's a
Yeah.
great part of history, and I encourage everyone to run out. Go get it! Go get it! So thank you so very
You're
much,
welcome.
Dr. Patsy Baker
You're
Blackshear, for
You're
being on the show.
welcome.
And thank you, Dreamcatchers, for tuning in and being a big part of the Haven Circle. It is my hope that you are inspired in your own writer's journey as we unpeel the layers and get to the heart of this writer's game.